All right, folks, I've had a few questions about using the market monitor and more matching it to the daily bulletin that we had on Philogix before. So just want to show you how I think you can probably reorganize what you're doing on the results to see a little bit more consistently like what the hot sheet was like before. So first thing is I'm just going to click on the hot list here, and you'll see I get all the results, 173 going back one day. And they come in with all these columns here, and they do have pretty much everything you're going to need. But I think if your columns are missing right now, like if you do not have if you've set it up and you don't have the listing member here, or you don't have the conditional clause, or the action icons, or the status, you're going to want to go into Customize and customize the fields. And my first thing that I would do is I would just hit this button that says Revert to Default. When you revert to default, it gives you the columns that you're going to need likely. It gives you the address, the community. Most importantly, it gives you the listing status, the listing date, listing member, the selling price, if there's a selling price for sold price for sold properties, and then also the conditional clauses and things like that that might be there. So the next thing then just becomes a matter of organizing it how you want it. So my suggestion is I would go back into the custom fields again, and I would organize it in the custom fields the way I want. You can organize these just by dragging and dropping them. So probably most important thing for me is the address. So I would probably bring that up here to the top after the pictures. Don't really need the MLS, the PID or anything like that often, I will say. So I'm just going to move all these down. And don't really need to highlight them. I'm just going to move them all down here. Some of the other stuff that I use a lot is listing status. So I'll move that up right after the address. The type, the region, the original price, probably need that for price changes. I'm going to move the selling price up behind that as well. So original, then list, and then selling price. I'm going to move the listing member up because I like to know that, who the agent is that I'm dealing with here, and I'll put that after selling price. Then below that, I'm going to want to add the action icon so I can quickly see stuff that I want to see there, and I'm going to put that after the listing member. And then I think I'm probably going to move up list date pretty early, actually. I'm going to move that up right beside listing status, right behind listing status here. And then I am going to move up the conditional clauses as well, so that I can see that right behind the action icons. Okay, so this is my order that I have it in. I have the pictures. So the number of pictures, then the picture itself of the main picture of the property, the address, the listing status, the listing date, the type of property it is, the region that it's in, the original price, the listing price, the selling price, listing number one, action icons, and the conditional clause. And then I have the community and all the other stuff beyond that. Okay. The only other one that you might want to put in there is district. So if you want to search for district, you can put that in as well. And I think I'm going to add that in here. I'm going to put it right behind region. Okay. So I'm going to save that, and that should save my columns in the way that I want to see them. And you can see that I can see all the way over to the action icons here and the conditional clauses. Some of the stuff that I can then do is I can make some of these columns a little narrower. Most of the time these addresses aren't as long as the space that they've allowed for us. I can narrow this up as well. I don't really need that to be as wide. Probably narrow this also, just so that I can start to see all of the information on the one page. Listing members there, action icons don't need to be as wide as they are, so I can see that come in. Selling price is probably the right width. District I can actually narrow up a little bit as well, since I know most of the districts. So again, starting to get used to knowing all of the columns and how I want them. Pictures, the number of pictures does not have to be as wide as that. So I'll just narrow that up a little bit as much as I can. You can actually make the pictures a little bit broader if you want to. Actually, it doesn't make the pictures any bigger, so that doesn't help me. Okay, so now I have this set up the way that I want. The next thing I want to do is I actually want to go ahead and sort these by a couple things. I want to sort them by listing status, and then secondarily by listing date, so that I get the different statuses here in alphabetical order, and then I'm going to get the most recent to the oldest. So I'm going to go ahead and do the first custom sort, which is I want to sort it by listing status. And then the second one I want to do is ascending by list date. Okay, and when I hit save, you see it's going to reorder all of these so that I get the active ones first, and then I get the original list date being the next thing that I sort it by. Okay, so you can see this one's actually been on the market for a significant amount of time. If I wanted to, I could sort it descending by list date, and then I would get the newest first. So again, I could sort it by listing status, and then by list date descending, and you'll see that I'll get all the listing status, and then I'll get the most recent ones first. So these are the most recent list date ones, and you can go all the way down and see the list. And you'll get multiple pages here. You're always going to get multiple pages here because there's a whole lot of them. There's 173 that we're going to have to get through, and you can go ahead and sort and look through as many of those as you want. Okay, so good little way to get to organize the list a bit better so that it makes more sense for you and makes it a little easier to navigate through all those properties. Any questions, feel free to give us a call.